those are my honorable mentions. I'm going to transition into my most used decks with a deck that I actually don't use as much as I used to, but loved when I got it. And I guess I still love it. I don't know why I kind of moved away from it. I go through phases with tarot. I go through phases where I don't even read for 6 months, a year even, lately, which is too bad because life gets in the way. Anyway, but I go through phases with decks too. This is the World Spirit Tarot. It is, I believe, out of print, but I'm sure that it's gettable through deck exchanges. This absolutely fills the requirement that I mentioned of being multicultural, somewhat gender neutral, or at least gender inclusive. I sometimes wonder whether it might not resort to stereotypes in a way, but it's better than a completely white. See, here's an example, right? The Two of Cups. We might be able to paint that as 2 men, 2 women, a man and a woman, or anything in between, which, as an empathetic human being, I feel is important. I love the artwork in this deck. It's linoleum block print that's colored in with pencil. And it's beautiful. And I should probably use it more. I also like that it's dark. Not dark in the sense of tone, dark color-wise. And because the borders are dark and it's linoleum block, the colors really stand out. Very Rider-Waite. I wish this hadn't gone out of print. It's really, I don't know. I bet if this were released today, people would be buying it a lot. Anyway, again, not a reversible deck in the traditional sense. What you do, and I don't have the book anymore. I had a couple copies of this deck because I loved it so much, and I can't find the copies, and I can't find the book that went with it. But the idea behind it was that reversed, you were looking at the shadow of the card, and upright, you were looking at the, I guess, the light side of it. They also did something with the court cards in this, and I don't know if you noticed as I was going through. I don't know if I can find one quickly. Seer. Yeah, here we go. The court cards in this one were Seer, Sybil, Sage. Oh, and I don't remember what the 4th one was. Can we get it quickly? Probably not. Seeker. Yes, we can. So, Seer, Sybil, Seer was page, Seeker was knight, Sybil was queen, Sage was king. And that actually has really affected the way that I read court cards in every deck. Because I strip gender from them. I don't read gender into the court cards, for the most part. What I do is conceive of them as an evolution. Someone who identifies and is curious about something, someone who goes in search of it, someone who masters it, and someone who becomes a guru of it, for lack of a better term. That came from this deck, and if nothing else, it saved me when it came to the court cards, because I view it as a continuum on a journey. World Spirit deck. Really like it. Wish it were still in print. If you can find it, get it. And I should probably start using it again. Now we'll get into the decks I use a lot. Nothing here is probably going to be all that unfamiliar, so I won't do, too much dramatic here. Halloween Tarot. Rider-Waite clone. Adorable. I think it is one of the smartest, cleverest, most fun, charming decks. I mean, come on. Friendly. I don't know that I would do, soul work on this, but who knows? If I wanted to explore the lighter side of something, if I wanted to do a reading at Halloween, and I don't just look at this at Halloween or use it during Halloween. I've got a couple copies of this deck, too. If you know Rider-Waite, you're going to know this. You just have to learn the correspondences. Pumpkins are pentacles, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Ghosts are cups. It's smart. It draws these really clever parallels between Rider-Waite and modern. It's just adorable. I love this one. I love all of them. It's just cute and fun and charming And sometimes tarot should be all those things. Judgment. Adorable. Again, not the most serious deck, but I love it. I love it. And I think everyone should get it. The next deck is my very first deck ever. And it sits in this box that I got online 17 years ago. It's controversial. Some people really hate it. Or at least this iteration of it. This is the Roses and Lilies original Rider-Waite Tarot pack. First deck I ever had. People hate the coloring. I get it. I do. But I still remember flipping through this deck for the first time. And I still sort of feel that kind of sense of magic. You know, it's just cool. I love Pamela Coleman Smith's art. I wish someone would do a multicultural recoloring of it, honestly, because that would be awesome. I love that it looks old. I don't know. It feels weathered in a good way. So, anyway, everyone's seen the Rider-Waite deck. Yes, it's white. Yes, it's kind of overtly Christian. Yes, this particular coloration is kind of ugly, but I still like it. The Stella Tarot. Forgot about this one until a tarot blogger pointed it out or shared it in her underrated decks. I put this back in order, so I should probably... No, I didn't. Maybe I did. Doesn't matter. We're going to flip through it anyway. This is just a really cool deck. It's a Japanese deck. Kind of white, again. But because it has this sort of weird, whimsical, in a good way, I hate that word. I can't believe I just used it. Quirky, cool art. Because it's not realistic, I guess its whiteness kind of bothers me less. It's really fun to read with. It's complicated enough that you don't sort of sit there and scratch your head. It's not so complicated that you get lost in the images. And I love... I don't know. It's playful, but serious. It's hard to describe. I think you should just get it and play with it and see how it works for you. I love it. I'm making a mess because this is hard to do with one hand. Chariot. It's my card, by the way. My numerological card. Alright, I'm going to stop this because I can't get it in a pile, so we'll do that later. Stella Tarot. This is probably my favorite deck right now. It's the Ellis Tarot. It's a self-published deck. It is in print still. It does have a different backing. I would not say this is the kind of art I would normally be drawn to. The second I saw this deck, I think on Eclectic Tarot, I raced out and hunted it. I adore it. It's not white. Well, that one is. Some of the people are blue. Some of them are gray. Some of them are pink. It's beautiful. Self-published, self-printed. I never have a bad reading with this deck. I never struggle with it. A little creepy. It is dark in a way, but it's just, I don't know. Taylor Ellis, I believe is his name. He will sign, or he signed mine anyway, when you buy it. Again, not a reversible, quote, reversible. I don't believe he uses reversals, if I remember correctly. But he made an amazing deck that I love. The final one that I have for you is probably the most beautiful tarot art ever created, in my humble opinion. The Shadowscapes Tarot. Some people who worry about this kind of thing might tell you that it's a little feminine. I disagree. And even if it were, I don't care. It is stunning. I could look at this deck for hours and have. I agree with those commentators who wish the cards were larger. That would make it harder to shuffle, but it would make it easier to see the detail, which is very small. And some people don't read with it for that reason. I think this may be the most beautiful deck, though. I love it. I have a lot of fun reading with it. People always comment on it. Again, because it's got kind of a fantasy quality to it, you're not thinking about how white it is, because the creatures, the people, the human-esque figures in it are not quite human. And so you're not really thinking about, oh, this is like a super white deck. So, those are my recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this. This went a little longer than I thought it would, but in my next video, I'm going to share with you my sort of desert island tarot books. I hope you enjoyed.